What are the steps when applying for DSA support while at university? Step 1. Download and fill in the application form.
It's best if the student applies really early on. If the student didn't know about DSA or was unsure whether they could apply, then they can come and see us and apply really at any time during their course. We would talk to the student about any difficulties they might be having, and we would explain the process and look at the kind of support that the university can provide in terms of reasonable adjustments and also the kind of support that would be eligible for through the DSA.
All they would need to do is just search the direct.gov website for DSA, click on the link, and this would just bring up a little bit of information about disabled student allowance, what they're entitled to, how the process works, and then all they would need to do is click on the application form.
I think it's important that students realise it's never too late to apply for the disabled students allowance. So you could be in your third year and you know be hearing this and thinking, I can't do that, it's too late. It's not too late. You may become disabled whilst you're at university. You can apply, and I would encourage all students to apply for the funding that's available.
We will send them an application form, and all they need to do is send it back to us and sign it, and send along the relevant disability evidence with it as well.
Medical evidence would just be confirmation from your GP that there was a medical condition.
Or they can submit a diagnostic report, which has been done by a psychologist, for example, where a student has got dyslexia.
Good afternoon, response team, Kevin speaking. How can I help?
If students have any issues at all, we would encourage them to contact us here. Each university will have a dedicated team that help students that have disabilities, and they would be more than willing to help them with the application process as well.
They filled out every single piece of paperwork, and I think all I did was sign it, read through it to make sure that I agreed, and sign it.
Step 2 would be receiving a letter from ourselves saying we've accepted your application and to contact a needs assessor. Step 3 would be going to see your needs assessor to have your needs report done, so we know what sort of things can be put in place for your application.
The needs assessment is not any kind of test. It's a chance for the student to talk about their disability and any impact that has on their studies.
What we're going to talk about today is...
The purpose of a DSA needs assessment is to identify how the student has developed strategies over the course of their education and to try and identify either human support or hardware or software to help them study at degree or higher education level.
I must emphasise today we're not going to have any testing, so there's no diagnostic testing like you've done previously. It's an informal chat.
The actual needs assessment is about an hour and a half, 2 hour, going through things like what strategies they do to understand information and how they go about proofreading their work and understanding what's said during lectures. Each assessment is for the individual student's needs. We try and make the assessment as welcoming and informal and pleasant as possible.
The gentleman that did the assessment, he was really welcoming and he made me feel really relaxed.
It was mainly someone observing you and just seeing how you do things and how they can help. So it's not like a typical test where it's strenuous and you're under pressure. It was more just someone really sort of qualifying how they can help you.
What would you consider your main difficulties with studying are?
I really explained what my particular needs are, you know, what would make my study effective throughout my term and throughout my university life, really.
Students can take breaks at any time during the needs assessment for any medical reasons or energy levels. If they want to cut the assessment short, we can either finish it off over the phone or invite them back to cover the outstanding areas of the report template.
We have thousands of students each year that are actually eligible for the disabled student allowances, and they don't end up going through the needs assessment process. So that's the main thing that the student needs to take on board, is that they need to do that as soon as they possibly can. And there is full instructions on the letter that we send them on how they go about doing that.
Step 4, you would receive your entitlement notification telling you what support is going to be put in place. Step 5, we would tell you to order your equipment and arrange your support.
After their assessment, the student receives confirmation of the funding. We try and keep the process as simple as possible for students. All that needs to happen is the proof of entitlement gets sent into a supplier, the goods are checked, and then a delivery date is arranged. On delivery of the equipment, an engineer will set up all of the ergonomics and all of the assistive hardware and software supplied, and they'll work with the student through basic familiarisation and tailor ongoing training around their specific course and their needs.
from the student submitting an application for them to get their support in place can actually take 14 weeks on average. It's very important that they look to apply as soon as they possibly can so we can get the ball rolling with the application process.